Hi, my name is Casey Jones, and this is my sports management video for Parks and Recreation 266 at NC State University. And I'm here with Todd Jones, the athletics director for Western Rockingham Middle School in Madison, North Carolina. Thank you for interviewing with me.
Sure.
Okay, so my first question is, how did you become an athletics director for your middle school?
The existing athletic director was retiring, and so my principal just approached me. He knew I had a history of athletics, and so he approached me about becoming the new athletics director.
Okay. So what qualifications did you come in with in order to accept this position?
Well, back in high school, I played 3 sports, so I'm athletically inclined. Plus, I've coached. I was assistant coach for about 9 years, and then I coached myself, a head coach, for about 4 or 5 years. And he knew that I was not from the area, and that I knew sports, and that the kids and the parents respected me. So that kind of led into him asking me to be the AD.
Okay. And what experience did you have in athletics prior to being an athletic director? I know you said you played and coached.
As I said, I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. Then I was assistant girls basketball coach at the JV level, and then head coach at the middle school level, and also assistant at the middle school level. So, and then I've coached throughout rec, baseball, basketball, football. So I've just been in sports my entire life.
Okay. And what is the main difference between being an athletic director and a regular manager of a company?
Well, a manager of a company, that also is part of my background. But manager of a company, you're having to meet quotas, you're having to meet production, you're having to manage typically a lot of adults. With AD, you're still you're kind of directing and you're coordinating, but you're dealing more with children, and it's more about scheduling rather than having to meet a certain quota, a certain production limit.
Okay. And does having a background in participating in sports and coaching make your job as an AD any easier?
Yes, simply because I know what coaches and what players, what the expectations are for them, and I know sports, so it's just second nature to me.
Okay, that's good. What is the hardest part of being an AD?
Hardest part for me now, middle school AD is a lot less stressful than a high school AD, but for me, having to teach 5 classes and then also keep up with the athletic part of it, scheduling, schedule officials, schedule buses, that's the hardest part. And also having to deal with parents that kind of have that expectation that their child's still in the recreation league where they paid to play so much, and so they don't quite grasp the concept that their child may not play. So having to deal with parents and then having to teach 5 classes, that's probably, for me, the hardest part.
Okay, so you just said the hardest part, but what is the most rewarding part of being an
AD? Most rewarding part is watching the kids grow athletically, watching the number of student athletes that are scholar athletes, watching the athletic program as a whole succeed, also being able to purchase things that the athletic program has not had in the past. Those are most rewarding, I think.
Okay, that's good to hear. It's easy to work with teachers and other school personnel when it comes to the athletics, like working with the principal and stuff.
At my school, it's very easy. The principal, she's athletically inclined. She played back in high school, so she has an athletic background, so she knows athletics. She's very easy to work with. The teachers, they work gate and they work concession stand, so they take turns working at the different athletic events. So most everybody has the mindset that athletics are part of it, part of middle school life. So they're very good about helping out with me and helping out with the kids.
Okay, that's awesome. So what has been the most challenging interaction you've ever had while acting as the AD, either with a student or another teacher or a parent or administration?
Student-wise, probably athletes, or very few, but there's been an instance or two where a student doesn't realize that ISS, in-school suspension, or out-of-school suspension applies to them. So, they're expecting to play, and they've been placed in ISS by a teacher or an administrator, and then for them not to be able to play, that's hard. And then for parents, I just had an incident where a parent, his daughter had an earring for a championship volleyball match. He thought she should be able to play, even though the rules strictly say that if there's metal or something in the ear, they can't play. So he got kind of vulgar and mouthy, and that was kind of hard to deal with that.
Right, I can imagine. So you said you're also a teacher at Western Rockingham Middle School.
Yes.
Is it difficult to balance schoolwork and athletics?
Uh, yes and no. Because I have a background in athletics, that makes it a lot easier. But it is hard when you have 5 classes, and then still have to schedule buses, schedule officials, schedule, um, you know, check physicals, make sure everybody's up to date. Yeah, you have to go through the entire student body to make sure everybody's physical hasn't expired, that they have a physical on file. Go through all the rosters. Excuse me. Just keeping up with that's hard, and then having to teach 5 classes a day. That's pretty rough.
Okay. So have you noticed any change in student participation since you became an AD?
Yeah, I would say it's been mostly. I mean, it's been positive. I don't know the exact numbers of participation wise when the previous AD was in her position, but kids that haven't played in the past have gone out for sports, and I've seen an increase in wrestling specifically, also track. So I try to talk it up with the kids in class, and so I think I've seen some of the kids that normally wouldn't go out for a team, they've been more inclined to go out. So
Okay.
I'll say yes, positive.
Okay, that's awesome. So I know you said you purchase a lot of equipment and like uniforms and different types of equipment for the schools. Has it been difficult dealing with the finances of the school's athletic budget?
I wouldn't say difficult. It's something that you always constantly having to check on. I mean, I don't have exact. I don't have. The money goes to the bookkeeper, so I have to stay in contact with the bookkeeper to see what the athletic account, what kind of money, what the totals are that it has in it. But as far as purchasing, that's been fairly easy because we've been very fortunate this year with donations and parents and people coming to the games and that kind of thing. So the balance has been higher than it has been in the past. So it's been fairly easy this year, but it is a challenge at times.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, his middle school is in Rockingham County of North Carolina, where there are 4 other middle schools that he has to work with, or 3 other middle schools that he has to work with, 4 total, in scheduling events for like the county middle schools. And so I know you have to work closely with those other athletic directors. Tell me about that relationship. What is that like?
As you said, there are four county schools, myself, and then 3 others, and then there's another. Caswell County has 1 school that makes up the 5th school within our conference. 2 of the other ADs I knew prior to my position, so that's made it a little easier. The other 2 I've gotten to know. One of the ADs actually was a year behind me at the same high school that I went to, played baseball with me, so that was easy getting. I already knew him, and then a lady I knew prior to, so that's not been bad. For the most part, we all work together to help each other out as far as scheduling, or if there's a rain out, we're having to reschedule. Excuse me, reschedule games. We tend to work together pretty well.
Okay, that's awesome.
Excuse me.
You're fine. Is it pretty simple to schedule matches and games with the other schools?
Yeah, that's kind of what I touched on. One of the problems is that 2 of the other schools for track, for soccer, football, they rely on the high school that they feed into. So they have to constantly check around their schedule, the high school schedule, so that they can use it for the middle school. So that's the only problem. Most of the time they're willing to work with me in any way, and I'm willing to work with them. We have a good working relationship, but it is difficult when the high school says you can't play because of rain, or because we don't want the fields torn up, or we're having an athletic event, so you can't use it this week or this week. So that's the only thing that makes it difficult.
Okay. Have you ever had an instance where a student or parent has been had to have been disciplined by you or an administration, and how did you handle that situation?
Yes, this is my 2nd year of being athletic director. We've had a couple of unruly parents, mainly during basketball and volleyball. I've spoken to them as the athletic director, and then I would get the administrator or the principal or one of the assistant principals, and the resource officer to go and either talk to them again or to escort them out and basically ban them from any more athletic events. But for the most part, that's just an isolated parent or two, so it's not really been an issue.
Okay. Oh, that's good that you haven't had too many incidents like that. How do you hope to help the students that participate in sports at your school?
Well, I stress at the beginning of every season, academics comes first. So if they understand that and they buy into that and they work hard in the classroom, and then the athletic part comes, that might help them get into a college, maybe a small college or a Division I or whatever the case may be. But they've got to be successful in the classroom. So I'm hoping to help kids see the importance of education, because if they don't have the education, no matter how good of an athlete they are, they're not going to be able to succeed once they get to the high school level, because they're not going to be eligible to play. So keeping them straight in the classroom and then on the athletic fields.
Okay. So what managerial skill do you use the most as an AD?
The managerial skill for athletic director probably is organizing, or I guess in the sense of the managerial skills that we talk about in our computer class, would be leading, because I have to get the kids to buy into the program. I have to lead by scheduling, lead by getting them, not early release, but get out of school a little early just to get on the bus to travel. So I have to. That organization comes in the part of, as far as leading. So that would probably be the best managerial skill.
Okay. What has been your biggest accomplishment as an AD?
Well, this year probably, I would say the biggest accomplishment, there's been 3 actually. We got banners purchased for all sports that has the years that we won the conference championship. We didn't have that. So now kids can relate to the years that they played, and parents can also relate. We also got a new scores table for basketball, and also wrestling and volleyball use it. So that's something we didn't have. And then the third would probably be that we got a new volleyball system. Before, we had to play, because our gym's oldest at old high school, we had to play half court the short way, and the volleyball system was very bad, very old. But we were able to get maintenance to come in, drill some holes. We were able to get a new volleyball system, and now we run it full length, kind of like a collegiate volleyball. So that's been a big plus for our school, for our athletic program.
That's really good that y'all were able to get that. Do you think you'll continue to stay on as the AD at Western Rock?
Yeah, I'm anticipating. I mean, I enjoy it. It gives me a chance to stay in athletics without having to spend all the afternoons, coaching. I do stay for certain athletic events, but that's in season, so I don't have to stay as long and as often as I would if I were coaching.
Okay. Which do you find more rewarding, coaching or being the AD?
Well, they both have their pluses. Coaching, I really enjoy the teaching aspect of it. I used to coach girls basketball, so and like I said, the recreational baseball. So I enjoyed teaching, getting the kids to learn. Maybe they started out not knowing a whole lot, and then by the time the conference games came around, or by the end of the season, you could tell how they really bought into it and really learned and improved. That part I miss as far as coaching, but the AD, you like to see your team succeed. I know this past year we just had 3 conference championships and 4 other teams played for the conference championship, but they didn't win. But we had, out of about 12 or 13 competitive teams, we had 7 that either won or played for conference championship. So that part's rewarding, and seeing just the students grow and the parents, appreciate what their child has done.
Okay. And finally, what's some advice that you would give an all-new AD in a middle school setting?
To slow down, don't get in too big of a rush. Use the knowledge that you have from your playing days or your coaching days. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Teachers are really willing to help out any way they can. Go to the administrator if you have a problem or concern. And just be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not, but just slow down. Take it all in. It'll be hard at first, but it gets easier, with time. So just to be themselves and relax.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for interviewing me. I really do appreciate it. All right. Thank you.